We finally got patch notes, baby. We've been waiting 2 weeks. We finally got some patch notes. Finally got some patch notes. All right. Let's see. Let's read the basic stuff first. Everybody, different dungeon testing. All right. In this Midnight Update, we're making several changes across all healer specializations. We have been looking at data from all forms of content and noticed that Healing Burst and Incidental Healing has crept back up in a place that is higher than we'd like it to be. We've made changes to every healer specialization to adjust the output of many of their spells. Many sources of burst healing or incidental uncontrolled healing have been reduced. We've also increased the value by several spammable healing spells. Closely monitoring the situation, we'll adjust healer throughput. Okay, healer stuff. Don't care. We're going to warrior stuff. We're going to warrior stuff. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. I hope our page is as big as a... Thunderblast damage increased by 100%. Colossus. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Not Colossus. That's the thing. But I mean, bigger T blast. That's good. I like that. Several talents in the warrior class tree have changed locations. Okay. Stance mastery or stances have additional effects. I just increase, so further into crit damage for battle stance. Auto attack speed for berserker stance. When an attack deals 20% or more of your maximum health and damage, the damage is reduced by 15%. I mean, that's good for busters, but that doesn't really do a lot for, like, white hits that you're dealing with a lot of the time in dungeons. Maybe they still want those to be dangerous, and that's better for busters? So, I mean, you can still go battle stance as prot and gain that crit damage bonus. Might be good for Colossus prot for their, like, first windows, but... I mean... just re-tankiness, I guess, against tank busters for D-stance. One thing I do wonder is if that calculation is based on unmitigated damage, right? So if you have like a Gorillion armor, but the unmitigated damage would do more than 20%, if it would be still mitigated by 15%, that's really, really, really good. But I don't know if that's how it works or that's how it functions. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Javelineer has been redesigned. You know what? Let's just disable sound effects there, shall we? I'm leveling a monk in Remix to get the last Deathless achievement. The 3 characters I have leveled: Lying for Evil, Lying for Cash, and Lying for Fun. I like those. I like those names. And then I'll have like every class at max. Javelineer has been redesigned. Range of your thrown abilities increased by 5 yards. Damage dealt by champion. Don't increase the damage of Champion Spear. I don't want to take Champion Spear. I don't like that. Champion Spear should blow up. I don't like that. Shattering Throw and Wrecking Throw is increased by 20%. Sure, Shattering Throw and Wrecking Throw silence non-players for 3 seconds, so Shattering Throw is basically worthless, but then that also means you have to invest 2 talent points into Gag Order when it was just inside Javelineer itself. I really think they should just bring back that Gag Order talent. They should just bring it back and just let the normal Heroic Throw do it, and just put Heroic Throw on a 45-second cooldown. I don't care. Thunderclap damage increased by 100%. Rend initial damage increased by 60%. Weird, okay. Second wind healing while you're below 35% increased by 100%. Okay. Second wind doesn't really work in a lot of situations, though. So, I mean... might be good. It's decent for PvP, might be... I mean, we'll see. It might be good. We do have a lot of flex... we had a lot of flex points. I don't know how it looks with the new... talent tree. We need to make sure. Is our beta updating? Midnight beta. We're closing this game. I don't. Yeah, get out of here. We gotta update the beta, man. The beta must Dude, why does the exit game not work? I don't care. We're updating that beta. Update the beta. Update that beta. World of Warcraft is not running. There we go. Update that beta. Last Stand's been removed. Nobody took this talent. Nobody cared about it. Not surprised. Okay, Master of Warfare Apex talent updated. Your single target abilities can now trigger Master of Warfare was overpower. So everything can trigger Master of Warfare now, not just OP? All ability damage by 20%, thunderclap damage decreased by who cares? Thunderclap damage? Whatever. But everything can trigger Apex talent now? That's crazy! That's crazy! Okay, Storm of Swords, nobody took this. And Initiative was actually, that was a talent that increased the amount of rage you gain from auto attacks. And historically, they have taken away any form of charge weaving as a damage increase because they don't like the playstyle. And then once again, it was a playstyle that was a damage increase, so they just took it away because obviously they don't want it. So we have Blood Surge now, but I mean, maybe they're trying to make Rend more worth with Blood Surge. That's why they're buffing its initial damage, but I don't care. I don't want to play Rend. Okay. Alrighty. But big buffs. I mean, this is actually like really strong too. All single target damage can trigger Master of Warfare, so it can trigger a Heroic Strike. Like that's really good. Okay, I'm still thinking about that. I don't even care. Like these tuning knobs, I don't give a shit about. Like their tuning will be good. I care about how it plays, and this is ooh, that's spicy. That's a spicy meatball. All right, but it does make the spec a little more random though. Now it does make the spec a little more random because you do get a lot more. You will get more Heroic Strike triggers, but it's a more dynamic play style than just checking it after your overpowers. But it also means that you're not going to be able to use a Heroic Strike, or you're not going to really be able to use a Mortal Strike and then a Heroic Strike. You're going to want to consume that Heroic Strike through Slam before Mortal Striking in case you get another proc. Personally, maybe they want that part of the skill of the playstyle to be that you consume all of your Heroic Strikes before using other abilities. So they might not give us 2 charges, but if they're making this change, I would really prefer them to give us 2 charges of Heroic Strike, like they did with Sudden Death, so we don't, by queuing up spells, potentially lose a Heroic Strike based on a split-second decision, which I think is something they're trying to get away from. Fury, new passive, single-minded Fury. You can transmogrify 2 weapons into one-handed weapons. Yep. Fury's iconic, blah-blah-blah. Allows players whatever the weapons they want. And so this is also them removing this means that because I believe I don't know if the Fury loot spec will still drop one-handed weapons. It is possible they have removed one-handed weapons from the Fury loot pool and just left it to prot. But just to be safe, you probably still want to be on Arms loot pool. So we'll have to see. Rampaging Berserker has been redesigned. Oh, thank God. What did they cook? What did they cook here? Because I haven't looked at any of this. I haven't read any of this. Rampage grants a stack of Berserk increasing strength by 1% for 8 seconds. Multiple applications of Berserk may overlap, similar to Ironfur. Recklessness reduces Rampage cost by 1530 and increases Rampage damage by 510. That's fine. And Recklessness grants 3 stacks of Berserk and duration increased by 50%. Okay, so they've changed it to where we're still going to have these bigger burst windows, and our burst windows will be built around casting as many rampages as possible to get this stacking strength effect. However, no longer will our effects be built and then shotgunned into the Recklessness range. It's more a static damage profile that we're building and gaining strength, and then we have a Recklessness window to have a bunch of additional damage. So popping Wreck will give us 3 stacks of Berserk instantly, and we'll have its duration increased to 12 seconds, which is the duration of Wreck. because it's 8 seconds, 50% to 12. So the full duration of our recklessness will have those 3 stacks initially. But that also means we're probably going to go into a situation where we might want to min max it a little bit. We're probably going to be rage pooling before every single recklessness. So we want to build up to our max cap of rage, because if we have 130 rage, we're still building rage while we're casting. So we can pop wreck, have 3 stacks of berserk, and then rampage, rampage, rampage instantly within those next 3 globals if we build all the way up to 130 rage with our full rage pool. And it's just better, man. It's just better. They've just rebuilt it so it just works. It's static. You're always going to gain a benefit whenever you hit you're always going to gain a benefit whenever you hit rampage. It is kind of weird where you're just you don't really play. I mean, you kind of play around. I guess you're going to kind of play around it, but you're just going to be hitting as many rampages as possible. That's it. You're just, if you can rampage, you're going to want to rampage, unless you have a recklessness coming up, and then you're going to rage stack a bit. This doesn't fix, for me. It says T-Cloud damage reduced by 60%, which is kind of weird, which just hard, like, it definitely nerfs Thane a bit. They buffed Thunder Blast damage, but on the flip side as well, Thane's Thunder Blast damage, when it's being buffed, with the increase, or with Anger Management also working on Avatar for Thane, means that Thane's going to have a lot more Thunder Blasts than it did before, because you're going to be cycling Avatar much, much more than previous. So that's fine, I guess. I mean, like I said, damage numbers don't matter. It's how it plays. But this style of play for Rampaging Berserker, basically you're going to play normally, and then you're just going to rage. I've said the same thing multiple times. All right. So it's better than it was before, where you weren't just building around this rec window, and then any downtime is bad. I mean, downtime is still bad, but it's not nearly as bad. But I'll be honest, the effect still kind of sucks. Like, the tuning will be fine. The apex is pretty much nothing. Arms has a far more interesting apex. It doesn't change how it feels when you play this talent, where once recklessness falls off, that feeling of having a 50 cost rampage versus an 80 cost rampage, you're really going to feel it again, and it's going to feel really awkward when you're jumping between those. But it's not that problematic. It should work in just fine. It might need to be buffed a bit. I don't know how. I don't think it's going to be strong. This effect's going to be strong enough. Because if I remember at the previous version of Rampaging Berserker, the first level of Rampaging Berserker also granted additional rampage damage. But realistically, for me, what I'm looking for is, if you can press Rampage, you should press Rampage, and it should do a lot of damage. That's all I want. That's all I want from Fury. I am really tired of Fury's builders being its top damage. I want Rampage to be the top damage of the spec. I want it to do big damage. I want it to be worth pressing. I want it to be very good, right? That's what I want from Fury, and hopefully these changes lead to it. Honestly, I would almost want to see this rampaging reduction just kind of work all the time, and maybe you only get the additional bonus while in recklessness, just so you keep a very static flow of play. But I don't know. It's fine. It's better than it was for sure. But I think the arms one is far more interesting, far more impactful, and I mean, we'll see what it's like tuning wise, but definitely, I don't know. I was hoping they were going to get rid of this like stacking strength thing. I was hoping we were going to get something that was more interactive with the playstyle, but it's just something that happens while you play, I guess now. It's kind of boring. Better, don't get me wrong, better, but it is very uninteresting still. Changes for Prot. Several of the talent trees have changed location. So, okay, so they moved... Activating shield wall increases your max health by 30% for 8 seconds and instant. That's a lot. That's really good. Most of the time when you're shield walling, you're either shield walling on a gather or for a buster or for something, and the fact that it gives you max health and heals you for that amount while you're like, that's actually really good. That's a really good talent. I don't know, depending on where it's at, you might be able to take it or not, but that's pretty good. Auto attack damage, cool. That also goes into Devastator, which is good. Shield slam damage, Devastator damage, Devastate damage, flanks damage. That's the Apex talent. Let's increase damage as a whole. Devastating folks, increase damage dealt by revenge. I can do this all day has been removed. I don't even know what that is. But no. I'm going to log on to the beta. I want to see what these changes are. But actually, we can just log on to the beta right now. Let's log on to the beta. Let's look at where these talent trees changes have occurred, because that might change some things. I'm very curious to see what happened. Ah! Flash bang! I feel like that fucking cat, man. Screen goes white. Meow. Meow. Oh god, I'm really becoming a content creator, huh? Making a fool of myself for money. Making a fool of myself for money. Yeah, so the reason why I'm diving into this now, and kind of taking a peek at it here, is I want to look at this and, like, judge it for myself a little bit before I start, like, through osmosis, absorbing opinions from some of the other Warrior guys. And see what they have to say. Why is Sylvance's face so weird? Got it, cool. Oh! Wow! What happened? Dominoes? What the fuck did you do? I'm gonna check if there's an update to fix that. I don't know what the fuck that. It's just replicated all of my bars. Like what? Like why? Like come on, man. Like what the fuck? Okay. Oh, Shockwave's in a better place! Yo! Shockwave's in a useful spot with Rumbling Earth! Yo! Last stands under impending victory! Yo! Okay, let's go through here. Where's Javelineer? Okay, Javelinier's here. So if let's do a hypothetical, right? Okay, we're going to, let's take Fearless, Armor to the Teeth, bam, bam, shabam, bam. Ooh, Stance Mastery is here? Ooh, that's where Resonant Voice is now. So you can... Because here's the thing. Being able to swap defensive stance as a DPS and gain that effect is crazy. That's insane. That's an insanely valuable talent point. Ooh, but what do you get rid of it? I guess if you're playing Slayer and Slayer's Slayer's going to be building around like Raging Blows, right? So I think some of my talent points here are kind of like bad. God, that talent point is so good. I didn't think the effect was going to apply to DPS too, but it does. That defensive stance point is so valuable. Yeah, Raging Blow, Whirlwind and Raging Blow, and this is just Bloodthirst. So I think maybe you do this. Oh, but then you can't. Ooh, you kind of have to go here because you want to get. You need Wild Strikes to go through for Battlefield Commander, so you can't go through here. So Javelineer is kind of there, but it's not really something you're going to be able to... Why is it here, man? Why is Javelineer here? It should be up here. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Getting Shockwave back in your base skill tree, right up here where all of your flex points are, lovely, incredible. But now, we're looking at Javelineer, which has a non-PvP effect, but is specifically buffing, like, PvP stuff in the lower row of the tree where, like... Okay, so if I do this, how long does Rally last? Rally lasts 15 seconds at 12. I still get my fucking bar. No, it didn't save! Dude, what is happening? Why didn't it save? Oh god. Why is it duplicated all my bars? Dude, this is ass. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix my UI. But no, the new Shockwave positioning, great. We had a lot of flex points here, right? With the new Rampaging Berserker, we're probably going to be need to taking Overwhelming Rage for the additional Rage. Okay. We probably don't need... Well, actually, we don't need this node here because we don't need it necessarily for Honed Reflexes, so we could maybe take it for Rumbling Earth, which... One thing to remember, right? One thing to remember with these changes and with this is the fact that CCs cannot, or stuns can't be immune in PvE anymore. So these two talents are also incredible and very, very worthwhile in Mythic Plus because you will always be able, they will always work. Dude, this is... Resonating Voice down here. Because the problem is if you don't take Crushing Force because you're playing a Raging Blow build, right? So if we're playing like a Raging Blow build, and we're not taking Crushing Force, we can put some more points in like Critical Thinking or something. I mean, if you're running AoE, you're probably going to be taking Vicious Contempt, which is more of the Bloodthirst build. Because you're doing that. And then if you do this, you kind of have to go this Javelineer side path. Because if you're playing Mythic Plus, you're going to be using Bloodthirst a lot. And then... So they buff the initial hit of Rend. But the bleed damage is... It's okay. Okay, so did they... Okay, we can check. Did they fix... Oh my god, everything is... broken, man. One sec. Can I reload to fix this? Like, what is happening? Not even my Platinator is, like, working. Got it. Cool. Nope. Just all fucking broken. Okay, so... Okay, now here's another important fact. They changed how the Bloodborne buff works. If we cast Bloodthirst, it will just buff all of our bleed effects on enemies instead of having those enemies need to be hit. So Rend is going to be doing 20% additional damage, right? Alongside our Odin's Fury, we're going to be using Bloodthirst all the time in AoE. I don't know if we're going to be using Reckless Abandon. I'm not sure. It's just there for now. But this pathing is way better. It allows us to go Bloodthirst focused or Raging Blow focused. You can't really go along the sides, which is kind of annoying. I would honestly... They're probably trying to force you into it, but if they move Barbaric Training over here and Javelineer over there, that way you could take everything you would want for a single target and AoE, that'd be really good. No, this looks... I like... This is better. Dude, getting Shockwave out of this tier 3 zone is so good. But having to take Javelineer, then... it does buff the damage of Champion's Spear by a decent bit. But here's the other thing. Champion's physical... Does it make it good enough? Because, okay, dude, now I'm just speculating. Because here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. Stance Mastery is so good. It's so good. like being able to press defensive stance in a big burst damage situation as a DPS, reducing it by 15% on top of the already where's the defensive stance? On top of the already 15%, you could reduce big attacks by 30% on top of the 50. Oh, it's so... Stance Mastery is so good! It is such an incredible survival tool for people that actually stand stance. Oh my god! What a talent! Okay. Okay, here's what I have to do, right? Here's what I have to do. First of all, I need to fix my UI, right? And then we're gonna fuck around with some shit. So, I'm gonna cut this video off. I'm gonna throw it up. Great changes from what I've seen so far. But I've got some testing to do. I've got my fucking dominoes to fix, and then we'll see what happens. But no, this is a good patch so far. I was expecting a little more for Warrior, but this is a good start, at least. They had a lot to do. Also, my plating, everything is just broken, man. All right, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, bye-bye.